your life, your business, your finances, everything that you do to the next level. So today we're going to talk about frameworks, and we're going to look at, how they work. We're going to look at what most people do and how to create your own so you can grow and be successful. So before we jump to that, this podcast is brought to you by The Healthy Accountant, where you can find, all the amazing programs that we've created for entrepreneurs, small business owners who are really bootstrapping. You're trying to get things together, and you don't want to miss out on what I call, it's kind of like the hidden money, the money that's right there and you kind of miss it. We don't want you to miss that money. We want to make sure you get the money. So you want to go to taxfreewealthchallenge.com, taxfreewealthchallenge.com. You can go there. There's a slew of programs that we put into one portal where you can get it and you can ensure that you don't lose out when it comes to your money and your taxes. Taxfreewealthchallenge.com. That's who's sponsoring the program today. So go check it out. It's almost free. All right, guys. So let's jump right into this. And so a few years ago, are you familiar with like ClickFunnels or Russell Brunson? Russell Brunson is this marketer guy who's created a huge movement of entrepreneurs that's doing some amazing things. Now, here's the thing. Everybody has to start somewhere. And Russell started back when he was I think he went to Boise State. And he wrestled. He was trying to get online. He's trying to do some things. And he failed for a long time. And he was doing all the right things. And then one day, what he realized in the process, before he really hit it big, is that it wasn't about how to do something. It was about the structure of how to do something. And so he started teaching from a method of what he calls frameworks. Frameworks is like the essence of what something is, but it may not necessarily, it's not going to be like fill in the blank here, but it's going to be, this is where it goes. This is why you do it. And this is how you can structure it. So he created a method on how to teach frameworks. It's mind-boggling the fact that he invested so much time into his personal growth. Think about what I'm saying. He had to figure out how to learn. So and then he figured out how to teach what he learned by teaching what he calls frameworks. And so I didn't know what a framework was, because typically, if you wanted to know how to do something, we were talking and say, hey, this is how you do it. But here's the problem. If someone just teaches you how to do something, but you don't understand how they did it, then what'll happen is you will at some point, you're going to get stuck. I just heard Dr. Myron Golden just talk about this recently. And what he talked about is how he learned how to play the piano. He learned how to play the piano. Say somebody taught him how to play a song. When and he could play a couple of songs and he's able to play those songs really well. But if he had to play another song, he wouldn't be able to do it because he doesn't actually know how to play the piano. He only knows how to play those specific songs that someone taught him. So when you learn the framework of something like an instrument, a piano, then you're able to actually play. You're able to actually do all those things. But here's the thing with the frameworks. Most people will be like, oh, just teach me how, just show me it. Okay, we'll show it to you. But the next thing you know, when that tactic no longer works, then all of a sudden your growth stops. So the goal in life is not just to learn how to do something. The goal in life is to learn why you should do something. Right? When you learn why to do something, Myron Golden, he teaches from the highest level. I love how he teaches because it pulls you into the purpose. It pulls you into the essence, the principles of something, of a strategy, without just giving you all like, oh, well, use this tool and that tool. And I used to teach from this level, and I'm like, man, now I'm getting, how you go from making, 300,000 to making 3 million. It's a totally different shift, right? Because typically at the 3 million level, you probably know a lot more about that business than the person at 300,000. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you want to grow anything, you have to understand the framework behind the growth, because like it's 120 days left in the year, and you could be saying, man, I'd love to start a business. Man, I'd love to take my business from 100,000 to 300,000. Like if a person, I remember I was on the phone. I was on the phone with one of my first coaches, right? I'm on the phone with him. I was doing about 100,000 at the time, so $10,000 a month. I knew how to do it, or that's where I was. I can't even tell. I didn't know even the essence of where I was at. I just was like, he said, so where do you want to go? I said, man, if I could just do 20,000 a month. I'm thinking that was a lot of money at the time. And he was just like, he probably was excited because then he was like, he probably laughed because he probably was like, man, he don't realize how easy 20,000 a month is. But if that's where he wants to go, he says, man, I can easily show you that. He says, man, basically, then he said, well, I was doing 20,000 a month when I was stuck. So when he was stuck at 20. And then I'm working with him, and then he didn't get stuck again because he figured out a framework. And then he's like, I'm doing 100,000, and I'm going to do 100,000 next month. I'm going to wind up doing a couple million this year. And so I'm like, wow, yeah, he can show me how to get to 20,000. But here it is. I cut my legs off. I cut my legs off because I was reaching for something. I was reaching for basically a tactical response. If you just show me the tactics, if you just show me how to do it, then it'll work. When it doesn't work, I know I got a little passion right there. It does not work. I'm sorry. It doesn't work to simply learn tactics. You need a tactic. Everyone needs a tactic, but when you learn a tactic, the tactic is going to dry up at some point. Like Facebook ads. When I remember when I started, it was really easy to get leads. It was really cheap to get leads, and now you could get hosed on Facebook because Facebook, like, now you better know what you're doing, because if you don't know how to use the platform, and that's the key, if you don't know how to use the platform, if you don't understand the essence of the platform and what they want, see, Facebook wants something. Facebook has a desire for something. TikTok has a desire for something. Instagram has a desire. YouTube, all of these platforms has a desire for themselves. And when you don't understand how they work, then you could get penalized. And I remember it was easy, but now you better understand the framework. So the thing is, frameworks are built so that you could literally change your life. That's what a framework is. So when I was getting coaching for my first coach, and he was teaching me all these things, at first I was just going straight for the tactics. Then when I realized that, man, it's not just them dang on tactics. Because it's funny, I was on the coaching call with him, and like, he just pulled my card. He was like, Jay, dude, like, you're out of there. You're not in the right mindset. See, inside a framework, you got to take on the mindset of the person whose framework you may be following. Are you catching this? So here's the thing. You're going to learn something from somebody. You may learn something from me. And you have to take on the mindset. If you wanted to take on the mindset of somebody who showed up for 365 days, doing a podcast, doing a daily talk show with himself every day, then you're gonna take on the mindset of someone who would produce it, which the framework is this. Here's the framework for showing up to do something like this every single day. Rain, sleet, or shine. Here's the framework. The framework is, say you're going to do it. That's the first step of the framework. I say, I will do this thing. That's the first thing. Last week I did this. Well, no, this week, I'm sorry. I was having a meeting with Gwendolyn, my niece. She helps me with some social media stuff. And I said, you know what? Next week, I will do some trainings. I will do it. And here's the thing. I didn't know what the heck I would train on. I was like, man, I put myself in a situation now. I have to do it. I have to do it. And as the next day came, something said, well, you better go create a training. You better go get you a headline. You better go put it out there. So the first thing I got to do is you got to say, I will do it. Because once you say you will do it, then at least in the beginning, once you say you will do it, then that's when the next step comes in. The next step is, okay, so you will do it. Then what will you do? So then it's like, okay, well, I will do that. Now, what will I talk about? What will I train on? And so I was sitting there like, well, if I'm going to train, yeah, I would love to. Here's what I love to train. I would love to teach people really how accounting works. And what I've discovered is that Yeah, accounting is the reason why most people don't get to where they would like to go. Yeah, absolutely. Just imagine you got a great business, but you never looked at the numbers. Just imagine you've got a great idea, but you never actually did anything. See, that's accounting. See, a framework is basically it's the process to produce. And when you can understand frameworks, which I have Russell Brunson to thank for teaching frameworks in his teaching. And then he told you, this is what I'm teaching you. Like, it's so cool when you can teach somebody something and then tell them what you taught them, right? And that's exactly what they do because really the goal is not to help you to implement it. See, that's the thing. A lot of people, well, just help me implement. You got to pay for that, babe. You got to pay for implementation because implementation requires more steps. It just requires more in the process. That's where the secret sauce is. But you can take the framework and you can use that for yourself. And that's the key here. The key is once you understand frameworks, the essence, the principles of how something works, then you got to look at first you got to use them. You just got to use someone else's. And then after you use someone else's, then you can create your own stuff, right? I've created my own frameworks. I've created my own process. I've created my own essence. And now I'm in the process of creating a new framework on teaching accounting, but not from, let's go into the software. No, I ain't teaching you that stuff. You got to pay me for that. I'm just going to teach you really what it means and how it works and the principles behind it all. Because that's the biggest problem when you don't understand the principles, when you don't understand the actual essence, then it's impossible. It's impossible to win. It's impossible to grow. So what is it you got from today? Here's what you got. Like, you got to choose a framework to grow. That's like at the end of the day, if your desire is to grow, you must choose a framework. I gave you a framework here. If you missed all of this podcast, go back and listen to it. And I've given you a framework, and you can use that framework so that you can grow. Because at the end of the day, it's just some key things. I will do it. Like, that's the first thing. You want to grow? I will do it. The second thing, so what will I do? Right? And then the third thing is, how will I do it? So that's the framework if you would like to grow. And then all the in-between stuff, you got to come up with that, baby. Or if you just decide, hey man, I need some coaching, then you can definitely reach out and we can help you, in that area because we know how to do it. I understand the essence. I understand the principle and the tactics of how a person can grow. So, guys, I hope you got value from this. If you did get value, listen, make sure you share and like this podcast. Make sure you let other people know, hey, man, this is the Count for Life podcast. It's off the chain. We appreciate you guys. We love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow. So we went a little bit early today, but typically we'll be coming live at 9 a.m. every single day. So, guys, I appreciate you. Love you. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.